This is for my white trash, the ones the whole world hate, the ones who voted for Trump that got labeled racist but ain't, the ones with Paul Cash, make America great, who love their country to death and struggle on minimum wage. Hey, the angry that illegal aliens,
there you go.
hurt the baby they can get, single parents with some baby kids, hated for being a patriot. All my life I've been white trash, all my life I've been like that, the whole world been left leaning, I'm proud of the way to fight back. Been chewed up and spit out, they scream that no one listens. They're so in love and vote for Trump cause fuck a politician. They're our neighbors, they're our soldiers, our men, women, and children in the middle class families who got forgot by the system. In God we trust and all the guns are just back up. Rocking camouflage, don't tread on me, get smoked like tobacco. Yeah, we white trash, we rednecks, crackers since we were young. We grew close, we move slow, these colors don't run, yeah. Call us white trash, like we're someone they know. Call us white trash, like we care who we don't. Is it white trash? We be happy and roll. Then I'm white trash, but I'm not alone.
Yeah, fuck you, I'm white bro, ain't apologize for shit. You don't like that I like my skin color, then you can suck my dick. I like open gun laws, I like drunken bar brawls, I like drinking Budweiser, I like smoking Marlboro. We monstered up in them monster trucks, running in heavy machinery. We all believe in protecting what's ours. If you fuck with us, we got that heavy machinery. Drink beers in a lawn chair, nothing much going on here. Probably get a few long stares, look, you don't belong here. Hey, please don't get mad at me, I did not put up a barrier. People are judging me for my exterior. Man, you serious? Say the word white and they act like they're furious. Mad child and I'm sick as fuck, white boy on my pickup truck. Shotguns, my girl's money, I'm a firecracker, we lit it up. We just living our best life, don't wrap us up some wax scandal. Beer and blood on a white beater, jacked up on Jack Daniels. Get my chicken at Colonel Sanders, judge me and I'll backhand him. Tom passed me that red mask and I'll beat his ass with an axe handle.
So whoever would have thought fucking Boomer likes rap. Ha! So I've just been figuring this stuff out. I have very slow internet, so my live stream is going to be very limited, but this is just a recording. So before I get into anything, okay, I'm not really a phone guy, all right? I'm not really a phone guy. So that pertains to Facebook and this and that. So listen, man, if you did email me, or you know, you've come on to me through this shit, right, and I haven't answered you, please forgive me. I seriously, like, you know, being disabled, working for a living, and having a shitload of responsibilities, I'm very limited on time. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Plus, the guy I was working for, he got super sick. I hope he didn't have corona, because fucking sinuses are killing me, man. Just wow. But so what I've been doing in my off time, besides trying to make the software work for me and being a boomer, I think I get some kind of kudos for figuring some kind of shit out. Mind you, my son was, you know, at the main helm. Nice thing about pipe, pure tobacco, no chemicals added, and you don't inhale the shit as a rule. So this is my quitting smoking. The only problem is it's over $50 for a lousy small pouch. $50 fucking dollars for what? So we can give some corrupt government in Africa another $10 million? What the fuck's with that? What the fuck is with this guy? He shouldn't. Oh, okay. I don't want to get going on that yet. All right. Okay. So here's where I'm at. I've been looking at the corona stuff. All right. And so I've got in with a few people right in Hong Kong. On the mainland, a number of professors and doctors and so on and so forth. I've been posting what I think is worthy to post on King on Common Law. I don't know. I just, you know, I see it, and if I believe it's worthy to post, then I just post it up there. So There's a lot of stuff. So here's my rundown of the whole thing. This is the way I believe it to be true. This is the way I understand it to be true. And I don't think we're going to hit the peak till, oh shit, I don't think we're going to hit the peak for a while. March, right? So the way I understand it, or the way I can conceive it, or the way I see it. Now this would be a proper common law term. From what I see is this. There was a guy that was in the Middle East. Now I don't know if he was from the Middle East. I don't know if he was European that was working down the Middle East. But I think he was a European working in the Middle East. Now coronavirus is something that is out there. It's natural. Okay, it's a natural virus. Been around for, ever. Longer than our public service has been around. So guy gets back to Europe, and I believe it was Switzerland. I believe it was the Swiss, but he ended up in the hospital and he had this lung infection. So they sent the x-rays to their Canadian counterparts over here at our biological fucking warfare lab, which has been in operation for 50 years, that we know about, that I know about, in Winnipeg. And so they were looking at this, and they sent samples of the virus with the x-rays and stuff. Now, every major country on the planet plays with biological warfare. That's just the truth. That's the fucking truth. All right, so the States does, Canada does, Britain does, China does, everybody does. Okay, almost everybody. And so there was this husband and wife. There's a professor. Okay, another one of these fucking don't offend me, snowflake fucking professors, working in this lab. So apparently, from the way I see it, we have different professors from different universities that get time in a biological warfare fucking lab, our version of the CDC, and to do whatever it is they're fucking doing, different things that they do with biology. And so there's this one professor. He was working. I've seen pictures of him. I believe I did post him on King Uncommon Law, of the guy in the story. And so he's working. So he sells out. He sells us out. This is another trader. He sells us out, and so the Chinese government starts shooting him money. Those professors that came from China, I don't know if they were like posing as students or whatever, but they're real scientists, and they're working under him while he has the lab time. So he's allowing them to smuggle this virus out, and God knows what other viruses that he was allowed to access while he was in the lab. And he's getting paid to allow these guys to smuggle out the viruses. Now, another professor, because there's more than one, and probably more than one from different university, publicly funded universities. So the public is funding this shit. That's the other thing you need to know. All right, and I'll touch on that in a bit. So our publicly funded so-called professors, but we have one good guy, and he's working in there, and he notices the supplies aren't matching up of these fucking viruses that are supposed to be in stock and are not in stock. He gets a hold of the coppers, that military force we hire as police, the RCMP, right? Now don't confuse the RCMP, which I call recomp. Look at the cars. You won't see one period between any initial RCMP. No, it's recomp. Okay? Don't confuse recomp with the Northwest Mounted Police. Totally different. These guys may have taken the stage and replaced the Northwest Mounties, and now they're Mounties by default because they're the new corporate fucking Blackwater to take over. I don't know. But I do know that he gets in touch with the coppers, and I don't think he got in touch with any of his hierarchy. I believe that he just got in touch with the coppers, and the coppers actually took it serious. Yay, for once. So they go in, they start an investigation. Now this is like March last year, okay, so March 2019. They do their investigation. I know, hey, it's amazing. They actually still remember how to do investigations instead of work on a rat network. And they do an investigation and then find out, oh, yeah. And they bust these guys. But the only problem was, they only got the wife. They didn't bust the husband. He already got back to China with more vials, from what I see. More vials of biological warfare. So the Canadian government is allowing biological warfare. So they took this coronavirus that's been in nature forever, and they're turning it into a weapon, right here in Winnipeg. Not here in Winnipeg, there in Winnipeg, right? Okay, so yay! So everybody's doing it, right? Okay, so they do arrest the woman. Now the doctor, the professor. So I think they got busted in August of just last year, right? So the doctor himself gets busted, but he has a mysterious death, and I have not been able to see. He didn't die from the virus. He died from something else. So I'm pretty sure the fucking guy was offed, right? That's what I believe. I believe this traitorous left-wing snowflake fucking professor that doesn't wish to hurt anybody's feelings was knocked off because he's a traitor. You know what's funny about these guys too, right? Because it seems like all these traitors that sell out to these corporations, or what the fuck's his name, Frankenstein there with the island, all these characters, when they get busted, all of a sudden they're knocked off by their own. That way they can't rat out, guys like Justin and whoever, right? Or whomever. So anyways, he gets knocked off like everybody else, and they got this chick fucking under arrest. But meanwhile, this has been going over to this other lab in Wuhan, or whatever the fuck you call it, right? The Wuhan problem, whatever, And I'm not trying to disrespect the Chinese, because I'll tell you, man, from the Chinese people that I know, like on individual basis, these guys are industrious, hardworking, family-orientated, wonderful folks for the most part. They're just like everybody else, right? So, really, seriously, some serious good people over there. And what I believe to be true is this. Somebody, because that fish market that the doctor that was threatened by the coppers not to fucking talk about the virus anymore. Okay, so they got this biological warfare thing now, not just a coronavirus or coronavirus. And so now there's people working with this and playing with this to make it a germ warfare weapon. Better, right, than what we were doing over in Winnipeg, right? So it's our fault, all right? And we've allowed, I'll get into that in a second. But anyway, so basically, somebody comes out of the lab and they're contaminated. And that fish market wasn't too far from the lab. And they're the original, what they figure it was the start, was over there in the fish market. And from what we understand about, or what I can see and what I believe from my research in the last, 2 weeks, just with legitimate scientists, professors, doctors, and folks from over in Asia that I've been listening to, researching with, and talking to, and is that this coronavirus will hang out, this biological warfare virus that they've accidentally released on the world. I think it was an accident. I don't think it was an experiment. Honestly, I don't think it was an experiment. I think it could have been an experiment. They could have experimented the Chinese government could have experimented on the Chinese people. We don't know, but let's say it's an accident. Let's say it's an accident, which I would wish to believe that more than, the natural order of things, like you know, the emperor of fucking China allowing this to go on to their own people. But I can't really see it that way. But anyways, so it apparently the stuff will live for 9 days for sure on the surface, okay, on a hard surface. So, you know, plastic, metal, glass. Now, one of the reasons we used to use hardwood in all our packing plants, they never changed us over to stainless steel in our packing plants and slaughterhouses until the 80s, okay? They used to always use hardwood because hardwood, this is why cutting boards were made out of hardwood, because it naturally kills salmonella and E. coli. If I cut up a fish on an oak board, right, and I cut up a fish on plastic or glass or something, or stainless, and I leave the remains behind, and I saw this, this was done by a scientist years ago, and if you leave the bacteria there, the hardwood actually kills the bacteria, right? The plastic, the steel, and the glass, the salmonella and E. coli will just multiply like crazy. Now, our government, or our public service that acts as government for us, forced us to go over to the stainless steel. How many people died? What was it, just last year, from contaminated lunch meat? Was that Maple Foods? Who the fuck was that? But anyways, yeah, how many people died from that? Right? Because of contamination. Now, granted, when you're cutting meat and stuff, of course you got metal blades, right? And they have to be really cleaned. So I could see, and apparently that's where the contamination supposedly came from. So let's say we got a scientist working in their fucking germ warfare lab in Wuhan, and fucking it gets on them somehow by accident, whatever, who knows? And they leave, they go down to the fish market because they're getting dinner, because that's the way of their people. That is just natural life for these folks, and it's sitting on every fucking surface that man or woman touched, and ready to spread itself around for 9 fucking days. She picked up a fish, put the fish down. I don't know, right? She coughed. Sorry, guy. You know, who knows? She patted somebody on the back that she hadn't seen. She shook a hand, you know, to thank somebody. Who knows, right? And that person. So now, of course, now this is like October, okay, the earliest signs. November, when the doctor saw it in the neighborhood, the man who is dead now, that was hauled into the cop shop and forced to give his thumbprint as a signature on a document that says if he says anything else to insult the government, then he will be brutally arrested, right? So now he has to shut up and he can't talk to his colleagues about it. Oh, what the fuck's Trudeau doing? He's doing the same thing. He wishes to shut down independent media. He wishes to shut down the free press. He wishes to shut down any man or woman who has an opinion. In fact, they are. Look at the man in BC trying to speak out about his kid. All right, but I'm not going to get into that at the moment. All right, so you got this. So you got the spread, and everybody's told to shut up. Now the lowerarchy of the government, they're all shitting themselves because they're not allowed to be the bearer of bad news, because in a totalitarian nation or country, you know, the messenger is hung, right? Well, messenger got hung anyways. You know, the governor of the province had to fucking take the heat anyway, so there's your scapegoat, right? Yay. Trudeau is trying to make us exactly like China, and fucking nobody cares. Sorry guys, nobody gets it. Everybody thinks they're a person created by, you know, the natural order of things. You see, over in these Asian countries, they have it's a codified law. They are code countries, and whether you're in China or France, it doesn't matter, right? There's a natural order of things, and so the reason I'm the Grand Poobah is because that's the way nature intended it, and the reason you're the low piece of shit is because that's the way nature intended it. Okay, and this is what they, and so if you talk to a lot of Asians, like they all have similar customs. You know, they call their elders uncle. Okay, and but the Grand Poobah is daddy. Okay, daddy. All right, and you've heard me say in previous videos, maybe not. I threw so many away that I wanted to put up, or I misspoke about something. I just just because I was burnt out working and shit, that fuck it, I don't want to put that up, because I know certain friends of mine will critique critique me, and I don't wish to misspeak anyways. It's not my intention. So yeah, that's Big Daddy. When you walk into a court and they ask you how you plead, you're pleading to Daddy. You're pleading to a higher authority. Why is it do you believe that you are that person pleading to a higher authority? Because you don't fucking know any better. Because you're ignorant. Right? How many folks on this land within this nation understand the difference between public servant, anarchy, and mankind? All anarchy is self-governing. Like every fucking bird that flies wild in the air is an anarchist. Every deer in the forest, in the prairies, is an anarchist. I remember Chrétien coming out, oh, we can't have anarchy. Well, the reason they don't wish to have anarchy, the reason that our public servants do not wish to see anarchy, is because it means self-governing. And if you can self-govern, okay, or if I can self-govern, or if mankind can self-govern on this land, then we don't have much use for government, and it takes a lot of their importance away. So instead of paying them $20,000 fucking dollars a month, maybe they're worth like fuck, man, try $1,000 a week. All right? And why the fuck don't we have a vote if we wish to have them guys, like if these public servants wish to have a raise, and I don't care if you're on the public dole, okay, no matter what, I don't care what union you got or which part of the public you serve, all right, if you wish to have a raise, then you need to come to the people, and the people need to have a vote, a democratic vote, on whether you're worthy of a fucking raise. Right now, what the government's doing is they're selling off the natural resources of this country. They're pitting folks against folks. They're using the ideology of the difference between a native person, a black person, an immigrant person, a fucking woman, what was it, LGBT, somebody who identifies differently. They're using children, and they're using parent against parent to take over kids. Right? Like, we are all being played by this whole public servants. All these public servants are playing every fucking one of us. We can't even agree to get along as people. Now, I did see when I was getting rid, like, man, fuck it. There were so many emails from the YouTube when I did search and I apologize, but when I was searching, I couldn't deal with it. And I just, garbage can. But I saw one on there, and it mentioned something about, I didn't get to read the whole thing about my mention of Dean going to fucking prison, right? Well, I got nothing against Dean, all right, except for he never gave me back my fucking skill saw, and I believe he borrowed it and never told me. And the other thing was every night at the end of the job, I had to go into his tool belt, take back my fucking tools he borrowed. And I didn't, as a tradesman, I come from a people, okay, the way of my people, the customs of my people. You borrow something, you put it back in the same shape it was. If you break it, you replace it. If you borrow my truck or I borrow your truck, okay, I don't care how much gas was in your fucking truck, unless I'm absolutely destitute. Your truck comes back with a full tank of gas and the oil was checked and the fucking windshield washer was checked. That is the way of my people. Okay, we hurt thieves where I come from, which is the custom of my people. Thieves go down hard, very fucking hard. And it is our customs, and therefore the highest law of my land. So I just want to get back on the Corona thing before I get into the customs of the people and the law. And at no time am I ever giving anybody legal advice, because I am, okay, get this, I am a legal idiot, okay? So put that A in four corner brackets. I am legal idiot, okay? You can look at me as a fucking legal idiot. That's the truth. That's my fucking truth, and I'm sticking to it. I'm not schooled in fucking legalese. Fuck, those guys, they speak in terms and spells. And I don't even want any part of it. You know? I'm not going to sit there and assume I know what some kind of legal document reads. Fuck that. That's what you folks, I'm not even going to say you people, but that's what you folks don't understand about, oh shit, I just lost my thought because my computer monitor went off. Oh, here, I got something funny to show you. So, my son and I, we love to sit around. It's almost like, the old 1920s or whatever. The family sits around the radio and listening to a radio show, before TV. And it's basically what we've been doing with raging, eh? It's too funny. But let's see, where is it? And God bless that man. God bless that man. Fuck all the shills. But this is me and my kid.
No.
That's CBC we turned off. That's CBC Radio 2 we're about to turn off.
No.
That's just a bad 80s rock station that we're about to turn off. There's the humanist. That's too funny.
Yep. Radio. Yep.
I love those guys.
Happy. Sorry.
The only problem with watching Raging this all the time is I can't do any beer. I'm on a keto. I've been off beer for months, but I was doing the keto diet totally fucking wrong. Jesus Christ. I was in like a high protein diet and I just don't work out enough to I do my I got a dummy I work out on and do some stretches and stuff, but I'm just getting back into it. Fuck. But yeah, so why am I gaining weight? Well, I'm eating all this protein, more like an Atkins diet than it was. I was down visiting my buddy Juan, who immigrated up here from Argentina. Here's a pretty cool dude. All right, so this guy and his buddy, they got a 1961 Fiat. Okay, they're a two-cylinder, air-cooled engine in the back, fucking unit, right? Piece of shit. And they go from Argentina, they drove up to Alaska and then back down. And I met him in his travels, and he fell in love with a red-headed Canadian girl when he was up here. And now he is a permanent resident and a hell of a guy. Hell of a guy. I trained him in one of my trades, and hell of a guy. Hell of a guy. Honest, hardworking, good member of his community. Really good people, man. Fuck. One of the best people I've met in a long time. How to get off on that? Yeah. Yeah, it took him, I think it took him, I can't remember what it took him to get to Alaska with this fucking Fiat. Breaking down and rebuilding it all the time. Yeah. Yeah, what a character, man. But yeah, so basically we have some corrupt snowflake fucking professor working in our biological warfare lab in Winnipeg. He's selling us out, and this shit gets over there. This shit gets loose over there. CBC, The Who, and all the rest of these fucking clowns, they're sitting there telling us, hey, don't worry about it, and don't worry about it, and this and that. We haven't stopped all flights from China. This fucking virus is all over China. Man, oh man, it's fucking crazy. So another corrupt snowflake fucking professor. Yay. Thank you, dude. Oh, I can't thank him because he's fucking dead now too from his payees. When you sell out your country, when you're a treasonous bastard and you sell out your people, all right, your own kind, how long does the money last you when the cartel comes to fucking knock you off? You know, when you get in with some of the heavies like cartels and some of the major suppliers, they may let you build up for a while. And you may enjoy that for a temporary amount of time. But they only for a temporary, and then you're the scapegoat or you're just fucking offed. Or you're both. Hey, here's the new, yeah, we caught this fucking guy, he was the major, blah, 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 and Epstein in jail and dead. You know, just like that. Boom. You know? And what fucking lowlife sells out his own people anyways? Whatever happened to keeping your goddamn mouth shut? And these guys, I've seen the legal society engage in so much extortion. It's just unfucking believable. So I'm so far behind on stuff. Oh, jeez. But I did want to touch on the coronavirus. Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. You guys have seen Resident Evil. I take it. If you haven't watched it, it's a whole series of movies. But the Umbrella Corp, the exact same insignia, okay? Corporate logo as these fuckers in Wuhan. Yes, the Umbrella Corporation logo is the logo of the biological warfare lab where this thing got released from, where it got out onto the people, into society. Imagine that. Now, Corona. I'm not kidding, man. I'm going to bring this up. But Corona is an anagram of raccoon. Right? There's the Umbrella Corporation. There's Corona. Raccoon. Corona. Okay? You get that? There's your lab. This is the lab where it escaped from. However, accident or on purpose. But this is the lab it escaped from. This is the corporation in the movie that was put out years ago. Somebody back in the 80s and stuff, when I was first learning about New World Order and stuff, Flat Earth, you can say whatever you want, but this is a very technical map that any sailor can use, and I'm sure a lot do use this map. Okay, this has the clock and this has your longitude and latitudes. All right, this is the map that you won't get lost at sea with. And if you noticed, and I'm not saying a fly, but think about it. Nobody's allowed to go and play around in the Antarctic. What if the world was relatively flat and the whole edge of the Earth was ice? And this was the Antarctic. So everything here points south and this one points north. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Because every flight, you go from Australia, you always come through the north to come down. Nobody flies like this. Nobody flies like this. Nobody's going to leave here and go there. Okay, South America and that. They always go across and down. It's fucking cool. Check out the flight plans, guys. Check out the flight plans. Anyways, it was just an interesting, and that, and of course, there's your UN flag, the New World Order guys. Oh, yeah, well, they believe in flat Earth as well, which I wasn't going to go to, but I just thought it was fucking interesting. But this map here, if you use this, if you're sailing and you use this exact map, you won't get lost. This map works. And I just want to point out, you see, Greenland is not the size of fucking Canada in this map, but it is in a globe. So there you got your Iron Cross of the Nazis. You got your Huon fucking corporate biological warfare insignia here. The acronym for raccoon. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a smarter guy than me said, you know, there are no accidents. Oh, I'd like to say something about this man. Like I say, my son and I, you know, we're hanging out, listening to this guy quite a bit. Yeah, he's fucking hilarious. Like, he's very entertaining, right? But I'm very thankful, and every time I watch the show, I can't not think about I can't not think about the fertilizer in Europe of our dead soldiers, our people, those of us who went over there to keep freedom, right, for somebody else like Greta Thunberg, that are now soil and part of the topsoil, and they're growing crops with, or they're forest with. And I can't look at this man without thinking about all those guys. I am, you know, Remembrance Day, being the son of a vet. Yeah, I went down to the recruiting office in Winnipeg when I was 16. As soon as the doctor heard my lungs, he said, "You're out of here." I was born with bronchitis. Fuck all I could do about it. But, and I only went down there because I needed a fucking job. You know, and I wasn't, back then, okay, so this is in the mid-70s, but back then it was $100 a week room and board. So $100 a week plus you got free room and board. That's what the Army paid back then. So to me, you know, back in those days, $100 a week wasn't bad coin. And I'm not even fucking that old yet, and in my lifetime, $100 is like what's 100 today? It's $5. $5 of when I was going to recruit at 16 to today. Yeah, it's about $5. What's a hamburger? $20. Go to a restaurant, buy a hamburger. You know, it's 15 something plus tax, plus tax, plus tax, right? Okay, so $20 for a fucking burger. A small tank, like a 12-gallon gas tank, is $60 to $70 for a fill. So I got a burger and a fill, and now I can't afford a pack of smokes. Maybe, just maybe, barely get a pack of smokes. Now back then, okay, $5 didn't get me a full tank of gas, so maybe I'm not quite correct, but back then we were like, $5 got me about, it was under $1 a gallon. It was, you know, it was, what was it, 50 cents a gallon, 60 cents a gallon? So, let's just say 20 cents a liter. So it was like, yeah, half a tank of gas, breakfast special, pack of smokes, and a coffee to go. And I still had change from $5. So, I don't know, the 100 just looks like the new 5 to me. Love this water. Too bad Adam had to wash in the pond, though, eh? Yeah, you got to be careful where you get your water from now. All right, well, this is my first shot at this one. Okay. Oh, yeah, so as long as these guys understand the difference, okay, over in Asian countries, and I work for a Korean company, I've had a little bit of experience with different folks from different parts of Asia. So, China and Korea mostly for me. But see, they believe in China. They believe, and this was explained to me by a man from China. All right, and they have their natural order. So to question authority over there, and all authority means is dictatorship. That's dictatorship, authority, dictatorship. I have authority over my kids. I have authority over that which I author, that which I create, which are my kids. That's my authority. That is property. That's why I have authority. Trudeau come out and said, and he was telling the truth. Trudeau's not a fucking liar, guys. Okay? You may think he is, but most of you don't know how to fucking interpret English. So Trudeau comes out and he goes, yeah, well, Canadians don't have property rights. Well, of course not, because he's talking about corporate persons. He's talking about Canadians, the corporate person. He's not talking about the nationalists. He's not talking about a man or a woman of this nation. He's talking about a person of the country that falls under the authority of the Canadian government, of the hierarchy, of the Privy Council, and every pronoun and adjective you can fucking think of. That poor guy, I was talking to a woman there. I was trying to live stream. I was just testing out the other night after work with my son, and she said, well, what about, Buddy in BC? And I said, there's not, listen, man, what I wish to do is teach people how to man up. If it doesn't matter, and I'm going to teach you guys, or I'm going to show you guys what I've seen to be true and what I believe to be true. All right? But this is a common law land. That's the bottom line of it. But no fucking man or woman shows up on this land to stand and be counted. In fact, nobody wants to stand and be counted. You guys want to go over there and pay Omar to tell you what a fucking poor child he was. What a poor soul he is. I'm not even going there. And I'm not even thinking just raging. I'm also thinking of that man there that got his temporary prosthetic leg while he was in Afghanistan. He gets back home, and we can't afford to give him a proper one, a permanent one. Can't afford it. Can't afford it. We just gave some guy in Africa $10 million to promote whatever it is, where they still kill gay people, fucking whatever the fuck he wants, so he can get buy a UN council seat? Well, that's the other thing. Okay, so I saw this woman in my research. I believe she's a Brazilian woman, but she's migrated to the States the honest way, right? Great. So she didn't report on BitChute. I don't have it up, but she did report on BitChute, and for all of us. But if you look at any of the very hot, this virus can't live in above 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Bottom line. If you look at the countries above 85 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll find that it's not living. And you can say to me, well, what about that case in Australia? Well, that case in Australia was in Victoria, which was only 80 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Those people flew in from China, brought the virus with them, ended up in the hospital, but it was only 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So, I just want you to look at that, because where are the South American cases being reported? Where are the African cases reported? Now, I want to give you a question. Okay, so we got Trudeau, What's Buddy in Toronto call him Whimper Boy or whatever. Okay, so we got this man who acts as prime minister, or supposed to act as prime minister. He's not doing a very good job. And so they passed the election. Now this coronavirus came out, and they noticed it in late October, early November. Okay, there was already an RCMP investigation about this coronavirus getting, which was already turned into a war, like a warfare, biological warfare. Okay, by germ warfare, already turned into germ warfare here in Winnipeg. So the RCMP do an investigation, recomp, and Trudeau wins the election and pretty much fucks off from the country. Where is he? Costa Rica. Everybody's thinking, he's down there depressed, getting drunk because his old lady don't want him no more, and he's, excuse me. Ay, Corona. Ugh, ay, Corona. So he's down there. Maybe they were figuring that, well, they already knew that the virus was out in China at the time. They already knew. Okay, and it was being reported, and people were being threatened for reporting it. So maybe he figured there was going to be a huge outbreak, so he got the fuck out of here because they know it can't survive in plus 85-degree temperatures. So apparently, from what I see, Trudeau comes back to Canada temporarily. There's nothing really much going on. Fucks off back to Costa Rica. Comes back to Canada, and then he fucks off. This shit breaks out, and he fucks off to Africa, where it's above 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Isn't that fucking interesting? So, if I'm not saying that they let this thing loose on purpose, what I'm getting to is, so what if Trudeau knew it got loose early in hand and was just keeping his ass fucking covered? What about that? I hear bells. No, I don't. No. Yeah. So what boy Whimper is fucking keeping himself fucking busy. Now from what I understand, this thing, it didn't peak, guys. It didn't peak. Now the Chinese scientists and government came out and said, yes, this is an aerosol. The Who, not the Guess Who, the great band, the Guess Who, but the Who, the other band, came out and said, no, it's not aerosol. But the Chinese are saying, yeah, no, it is aerosol. All right. We're still talking about 14-day incubation. The Chinese are saying, no, fucking looks like 24-day incubation. All right. Just saying. We're saying the WHO and your CBC fucking trolls are telling you, like, you can't catch it unless somebody's symptomatic. They're saying it's asymptomatic. They're saying, no, you don't have to have the symptoms to spread it. And there's people saying, oh, stop spreading about super spreaders. Well, there are people that have a natural immunity to it. They're able to spread it and not get sick. Right? This whole fucking thing about bats and, the bad, the animal market, like the bad hygiene over there, fucking, that may spread it, but it came from Winnipeg, and it was man-made design. They took a natural coronavirus and they redesigned it into germ warfare right here in merry old fucking Canada, eh? Yeah, and that's what I see, and that's what I believe after researching. It was just fucking amazing. I think if you go on to King Uncommon Law, I've put up a lot of what I believe are legitimate sites. So yeah, they don't believe this is going to peak till March. There's all kinds of reasons why it looked like it peaked, because the test kits were limited, so they can only test so many a day. So it just keeps it on this line. Then they found out the test kits were basically illegitimate and they weren't working. And so they got the new kit out, and then, what was it, yesterday? All of a sudden, another spike in cases determined. The problem is the hospitals are full. So you go to the hospital and you don't have it, and then you're going to leave with it. Right? So there's all these people that they aren't tested, that haven't been tested. What are they doing here? And I was listening to these clowns. Oh, fuck. I was listening to this clown bitch from the Winnipeg Biological fucking Warfare Plant. And she's on CBC, of course, right? And she's going on, oh yeah, well, we created a SARS vaccine and we never fucking used it. What she didn't tell you, and what nobody's telling you, is that SARS vaccine they made actually is defective. And what happens is it may work once, okay? But if you get the vaccine again, it causes your immune system to attack your own body. That's what she didn't explain. All right, so, well, we made the SARS vaccine and we didn't have to use it, and playing down this whole coronavirus thing. These people in the know are going to be protected. You hopping in your Kia, going to your Tim Hortons, sitting there in idle and line up in 20 below in the prairies or in the rain in Vancouver or wherever on your way to work, hating your fucking fellow man for bad driving, hating everybody because it's too goddamn busy, fucking racing to pay your carbon tax, working harder and harder so that you can be poorer and poorer, all right? That's who's going down the tubes. That's who's going to get this fucking virus. Okay? I feel a little blessed living in the country, but I still got to go to the city. So right now, Cranky Frankie has been doing some great shows on this. Frank Vaughn, I call him Cranky Frankie. I do want to critique one of his shows where he's going on about law shit, because I disagree with him. Until you understand the difference between legal and lawful, you don't understand. Until you understand the difference between customs of the people, common law, and legal law, you ain't gonna understand. He was all upset the other day about, somebody got off about something because of the customs of their people, and he's going, it should be one law for everybody. But no, this is not a codified land, all right? The reason in the 80s, I think it was the late 80s, and I believe it was in Saskatchewan, that they came out with native courts was because they have the customs of their own people. That is their common law, which is the law of this land. Not the color law, not the legal society's law from the legal society and from legislation and acts, all right, which are all limited and they're all put in their boxes and so on and so forth, right? They're not, okay? But the common law of the people, and I totally agree with it. I absolutely, totally agree with it. It's the customs of our people to hunt and fish and go after natural resources that nobody has a claim on. And that's being outlawed through the legal society, left, right, and center, and that's part of us being sold down to the UN. And this whole thing about us going into that and being sold out to the UN and the WHO and the World Bank and all that fucking bullshit. I remember telling guys about the World Bank a long time ago, and they're saying, "Oh, fuck Elders," and these are businessmen buddies of mine. That did make good. Like, they did well. They cost them 2 houses and a marriage and everything else, but they did well. And that's what you got to be prepared to do if you're going to make it in business. Sacrifice everything. But there's no such thing as world bankers and all this. And, a few years later, it's just all come about, and and say, hey, how are those non-existent world bankers doing? Well, fuck off, Al. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So, I just I wish to use this new software, and I'm trying to catch up. Leona, I believe her name was, when I was doing the live, testing out the live thing. she was telling me about Zoom. So I checked out Zoom. I signed up with Zoom. Well, fuck, I don't know anybody on Zoom. I don't know how to hook up with anybody on Zoom. So, even my Skype. It's still up. It's not here. It's on my laptop. But even with Skype, one day, I don't know what I was doing. I went to go into it for something, and I made the wrong number or whatever, and all of a sudden you got to get a hold of Microsoft. So I get a hold of Microsoft, but there's no cell service. So I drive 30 miles in, and they give me a code, and I punch in the goddamn code, and they say, well, it's too late. You took too. I just, I drove into the city 3 times to try and reset this fucking whole stupid. I got to start a whole new Skype account. But then I have to go in cell distance to do it, so that, I still got my old one, like I say, on my laptop, but it's not like I can put it on here. I'll just, Microsoft, what a bunch of fucking shills, man, just unbelievable. What a hard bunch to work with. I did everything the way they told me, and they said, oh, no, it didn't work, so you got to wait till tomorrow. I'm like, woman, I got to drive 30 miles every fucking time? Jesus, Murphy. Anyways. I got that guy up because I like that guy. And he ain't the only one. And I just wish to thank him for speaking up. Speaking out. What I do, not that one. Not Sesame Street, not Rage. Oh shit, where'd it go? What I did was I brought up, okay, so Ezra being investigated. Let's leave this fucking thing up. Let's just leave the geek culture, Corona, anagram of raccoon, as in Raccoon City. Shh. Look what the computer does. You just want to click on a goddamn picture. Fuck Facebook. Alright. Hey, maybe these are the Corona people. Hey? The originators of Corona. The fancy people. Maybe this is the poor scientist that accidentally spread it. Yeah, skin center already. Alright, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna watch those and see if I can set that up. I don't know what's.
All this white trash, like with someone they know. Call us white trash, like we care when we go. They said white trash.
There we go.
Then I'm white trash, but I'm not alone. White trash, drinking beer till the night past. White trash, light a fire if it's cold. White trash, we don't wanna be high class. White trash, with a heart made of gold. Call us white trash, like we're someone they know. White trash, like we care when we go. Is it white trash? You'll be happy and broke. Then I'm white trash, but I'm not alone.
I like this dude. He's from Edmonton, apparently. Looks like a freak, but I used to look like a freak. Okay, I still look like a freak. Actually, no, I just look like a boomer. Hey, you know what? You know the cool thing about a boomer? You know the cool thing about being a boomer, though? Is like, nobody wants to talk to you anymore. That's fucking awesome, man. It's great. Because you're not mean enough, styling enough, coming up the fucking ladder enough, all this shit. And yeah, people just don't want to talk to you. I got friends in fucking various places around the world that are fucking seniors in their own ranks, and yeah, I enjoy knowing those guys. And But you know, you guys, younger folks, I mean, shit. I mean, how long am I going to be here? I'm on my way out. I listened to Frank, complain about being fucking too tall and fucking how hard it is and the seriousness of his kid and everything. Hey man, I was living through this shit with when this fucking shill unelected Senate come out with some stupid law saying you couldn't spank your kids. No, 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 no. I didn't fucking buy it, and I didn't be subservient to it. One time I was going to school, and I have a disabled kid, and I always had to live in fear of the establishment coming after my fucking son, right? Because he can't protect himself. All he has is his family, and that's what we are as a family unit. But fucking fear, but I couldn't show my fear, and I had to deal with these people one-on-one. And one time we were going in and talk to the principal and some activity at the school or whatever. So I go park the truck. The old lady goes in. I go in and, I walk up to him and he says, well, I already told your old lady or your wife. I'm like, okay. I cornered him right in the hallway. All right, Buster, now you can talk to me. All right? Now I'm here, so start repeating yourself. There's no fucking way. We became friends later. I mean, he was actually one of the better principals. Oh, they've gotten worse and worse. Like fucking worse. You know what? One of the best things you could do is just as a community. I mean, what if there's a mama at home, and we started bringing our kids to a neighborhood home. Oh, right, we have no more fucking community. We're segregated. Everybody is segregated now. It's fucking ridiculous. The corporate Christian church has fucking sold us out to the corporation. And now the corporation's going to eat the church. Aren't they one of the enemies? That's one of the things. I want to do a show on that and show you how the queen, this woman who acts as the queen is now, a proposed enemy of the state. And I'll show you the treasonous. And I wish to show you the letter that I wrote her. Letting her know that, hey, you've got an oath to eye your fellow man as people of this land. And these people are saying you're an enemy of the state and that I'm an enemy of the state. There might be something to do here. And don't forget, our armed forces, even though the House of Commons, right? House of Commons. You guys forgot about the common lore, the common land, the common man, the common ground. Fuck, it's all in name only. We have to get our fucking shit together, and the only way we're going to do it is coming back together as a community. But if no one knows who they are and what their standing is on this land, how the fuck are you ever going to stand? And believe me, the minute you go to stand as a man or a woman on this fucking land, right, within this nation, right, they are going to attack you. Attack. Absolutely. And everybody knows that, which is why everyone lives in fear. Except for the shills like that woman with the peace poppy talking raging the other night. And I know that generation. I'm embarrassed. When Arnie did that Schwarzenegger movie, right? It was 88 or whatever, but he's running the Fat Boy. So second movie, I think he rode a Jap bike in the first movie. So I'm running a bit of a high performance shop in downtown Calgary. Well, not downtown Calgary, off Edmonton Trail in Calgary at the time. I watched the yuppie movement explode, which is fine, okay? Which is fine, because all that did was induce Harley with a bunch, keep the factory going. It's the only North American motorcycle made. I'm not taking in that, what's that Jap look-alike fucking thing, that unit construction thing, what these guys call it. Fucking Arlen Ness does all the designing for it. To me, that's junk. and that other three-wheeled backwards fucking trike. Hey, great. Most actually, I watched a thing on it, and I think it was 70% of the folks who buy it are women. And cool on them. But no, not my gig, man. I mean, we used to have a saying back in the day, and I still live by it. You ride what you build, and you build what you fucking ride. I've owned many motorcycles, hogs and Brit bikes. But I always had my ride. There was my ride, and then there was bikes, and not the same attachment, man, at all. But ride what you build what you ride a bike, go to jail, all that wonderful stuff. One of the vids I was explaining, it was one of the AJ vids that I didn't put up. I was explaining to people about the bridal suite. And I'm going to get that into a vid and explain to you guys where we came from and what the bridal suite actually is. Jail is a terrible place to be because you can't get any sleep. There's nothing to do. Whack-a-posers, so on and so forth. It's just jail is like a nut house. Now, prison, on the other hand, is a little different. Prison is more organized. The guy has a chance to up his education, access to computers, so on and so forth. But to go to prison, it's a deuce plus. All right. To go to jail, it's a deuce minus. I don't wish to see anybody in either one of those fucking places. And a lot of guys that end up in those places, really, that's not the place for them to be. A lot of folks are mentally ill, and yeah, it's not cool. I mean, if I ran into, who was I thinking about here just the other day? But if I was in prison with, who the fuck was it? Oh, he's such a piece of shit. Fuck is it? Any one of those, any of those fucking idiots, whether it's Trudeau or Butts or the other guy who wants to license the internet. These guys notice that? Like, okay, look what we're going through with China right now because of this hierarchy. See, common law is ground up. Fucking code, all right, is up, down. Natural order goes down, but common law, the land of mankind, goes up. Okay? Everybody that goes up, the higher the title, the more responsibilities and obligations and duties you have to the folks that you serve. And over there, Trudeau's just trying to mirror image China. Take a look at what the fucker's doing. I mean, they've been working on this slowly for years and years and years. The same with the States, New Zealand, Australia, English Guyana, fucking England, Ireland, Scotland. I mean, Scotland's by Giro like Quebec, but they've been trying to do this fucking shit for years, and I think there's a timetable that has to be filled, and I'm sure somebody has the dirt on Whimper Boy, or whatever the fuck Buddy calls him there in Ontario, the man who acts as Prime Minister, okay, and I'm sure there's a timetable, and he's supposed to fill a timetable, and that's what he's fucking doing, which is why he doesn't wish to listen to anybody. But, going back to that, like, okay, so the uppie movement happens. Arnie does this movie, and next thing you know, you see Harley bikinis and everything in California. It becomes a thing, gay. The Jews are promoting something new, making a bunch of money. It was good for the motor factory, which didn't bother me. It was good for me, because I was souping up all these fucking bikes for these, not so much, yes, for yuppies, but some really good guys, really good guys. And but the thing that really pissed me off about it was these yum-yums, these fucking yum-yum riders. Okay, so maybe it was their aspiration to ride a Harley all their life, but they had to go, whatever, make their million first, or whatever, raise their family first. Okay, I can dig that. But then there was this whole fucking group you know, and a lot of them like fucking hog members and whatever. But there's this whole group, you know, they got the doodah rigs, and they got the this and the that and the that and the this and the newest that, and I'm stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and they'd all talk about their fucking stages like they all had fucking syphilis, you know. And those are the guys that I really did not enjoy. Like, I used to have buddies tell me, Al, why did you tell this guy you were too busy? I know you need to fucking work. And I'd say, because I don't want to work for that. That is bad money. He says, well, no, money is money. I said, no, there's good money and there's bad money. Look, man, I ain't rich now. I ain't going to be rich tomorrow. But I don't want the fucking headache of dealing with the shell, with the squid. What we call a squid. Ask any Navy man what a fucking squid is. I don't want to deal with fucking squids. I don't need that in my fucking day. Who the hell needs squids in their life? You know? We're on a job site and you borrow a tool from me, that's cool. But when you leave for the day and it's still, or they are still in your fucking tool belt, no, I got something to say about that. When I have my shit packed up in my truck, you know, and I leave to go grab my motorcycle, catch a ride home and grab my motorcycle, and I come back and I find out that after I was at a guy's place. I was doing a job, and fucking buddy shows up or whatever. Great drywall, just awesome drywall, man. Fucking did a beautiful job. Anyways, doing this thing or whatever, and you know, I got all my shit packed up, and I catch a ride home with the owner because he's heading my way. It's about 4 or 5 hours away. And I decided, well, okay, I'll meet you guys back. And I didn't like the scene that was going on there. Now, it was pretty much done, you know. The job and stuff, and I really didn't. I wasn't catching very good vibes. Nice enough folks, like the owners and that. They're nice enough folks, but you know, the vibes weren't clicking, man. It was like, you know, I went up there to help the guy out to work. Okay, so I'm working, and to spend the evenings, you know, helping him get ready for court and stuff, and it just wasn't happening. And I'm like, at every, you know, I don't want to get into it too far, but it's just like, holy fuck, man, this is a clown show. And so, you know, Dean's there, and well, he's an entertaining guy, so fucking all night it's the Dean show. So I go up my scooter, and yeah, everybody's got things to do. Now I'm there for the guy that I'm building the house for, right, or building the apartment for. And he's too fucking busy. He's just too fucking busy, and it was wasting my goddamn time. So I just parted my tools in my trailer. I had everything loaded up in my truck on my trailer, and I just rode my bike up in the center of the trailer and drove fucking home. Now I show up there in the morning, and you know, buddy comes up. He's just like, "Oh, Al, I'm just going for a coffee. You know, I'll come give you a hand." I says, "Yeah, I'm just going to pack up." Okay, I'll come give you a hand as soon as I get back. And then I run into the owner. Yeah, we just got this to do. And I'm like, you know what, man? It's like, fuck, I'm out of here, man. What a waste of time. I'm not wasting your time, my time, or any expenses that I'm costing you anymore on this fucking deal. So I pack up my shit. I drive all the way back. So we're talking 5 hours, okay? You know, unload my bike and everything, got truck and tools and everything. I get this phone call from the owner. Hey, Al. And I'm sitting at home, I'm finally having a beer. And I get this phone call. Hey, Al, where is everybody? I said, well, fuck, I've been home for an hour. Just having a beer. It's like, I don't know where the fuck you guys are. And, you know, and Buddy, you know, in the morning said, oh, and this is the other thing I didn't appreciate. He said, well, when you guys fail, I know how to get him out of jail. And I said, oh, so you got this? He says, yeah, I got this. I said, okay, well, see you fucking later. See, that's the thing. If you're going to learn to man up, all right, this isn't a game. This isn't about getting out of something. This isn't about fucking with the legal society, all right? I don't know why my screen keeps going on, you know, but this isn't about fucking with somebody. It's not about getting out of something. It's about knowing who the hell you are. Of course, I'm looking at my own eyes instead of that goddamn camera. It's about who are you? Do you know? Do you actually know? Now, when you go and you stand at court, not in court, okay? And I keep hearing like Vaughn and what's her name? You know, that nice blonde lady there that did the interview with the man who, or with that person who was under the gag order from the court and all that stuff for over his kid, over his child. Okay, see, these guys don't get it. All right, that is not a child. That is property. And until you guys understand, until you know that you are a woman with property, you're never going to have fucking standing in any court with anybody. Now, I don't know the complete particulars because I watched some of this stuff and it just drives me up the fucking wall. It really does. I can't watch all the nonsense. I do make comments. Ezra and those investigators, right? You know, and I was leaving all kinds. I was watching Ezra and I was leaving comments, and somebody sent me something and said, "Hey Al, you do realize this isn't a live stream?" Hey, I must have left, I don't know, 20 comments or something, right? But I was just writing down, you know, I was having fun. That's what I was doing, and I was writing down what I saw and what I believe to be true as I saw stuff. So I wrote it down. You know, I know it doesn't work with time. So what I wish to do, very next video. Now I'm hoping my boss doesn't have corona. Seriously, we don't live that far. People from out here, even though I'm out in the fucking mountain, I still got to go to town. This virus lives 9 days on plastic, steel, or glass for sure. Now people go to the coast of the airport. In fact, I was in with my boss the other day, and we were talking to a buddy who's a manager of a big grocery store down there, and he just got back from the airport, and he said, "Yeah, fuck yeah, you know, everything's just as usual." Well, why the fuck aren't we learning? Oh man, yeah, I'm expecting us to get hit. So our list of goods, or my list of goods, from what I figured out, is definitely a bunch of bleach, right? But definitely alcohol. We do keep H2O2 as a rule. A lot of people don't understand why H2O2 is like a bleach, but it's not. It's like a peroxide, which is a bleach, but it's not. Anyways, H2O2, 29%. Government took 33% off the market. I don't know, too many terrorist bombers or something making bombs and shit. And so, but the H2O2 we use, like when you got vegetables, we bring them in from the garden or buy them. We clean the sink out, we fill it with H2O2 and water. Of course, it's diluted, and wash your vegetables in it. What happens is it kills the bacteria on the outside of the vegetables and stuff, so that they don't go rotten as fast in the fridge. Because it's the bacteria, even if you've got this, you know, sealed units and stuff, the reason they go rotten so fast is your natural bacteria is on the plant are still activated and still working. So what we do is just fucking annihilate them with H2O2. So H2O2, Javex, alcohol definitely on our shopping list. Gloves, masks, safety glasses. Definitely, I got a number of pairs of safety glasses, but safety glasses, definitely. This shit likes to contract through your nose and your eyeballs, particularly. It is an aerosol. One of the problems they're having, like you get steam coming up. Have you guys ever seen steam coming from a manhole? Not so much these days in our country, because back in the day, we used to use our sewage channels were also our flood drain channels at one time, even here. But we've added pipelines, so we've changed the pipelines, so we have fresh water, you know, pipelines, so that we have fresh water runoff is separate from our sewage runoff. But they used to be in the same channels. In fact, Nelson, which is not far from me, some of them still are kind of, they haven't got it all straightened out yet, so there's still sewage going in by the beach. Another story. Yeah, but it is an aerosol, so sprays. Toilets do a 6 foot fucking micro spray or micro. And I was watching scientists about that. So it's a millionth of a liter size spray up to 6 feet in your bathroom. So close the lid before you fucking flush. You know. Yeah, I guess this gives catching shit from toilet seats a new fucking meaning, doesn't it? Now I know chicks for years, they got. I think even chicks get those sanitary things they can put on the seat and chicks sit down on in women's bathrooms. But guys, we just we're guys, right? So, but yeah, and I wouldn't want to get a splash from fucking water. you know, Drop a big one, it fucking splashes your ass. Oh yeah, I don't know. Does it come in the a-hole too? I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, another question I got. Uh, were they? Because they were saying something about the HIV medicine, but they were saying that this new Canadian-made Corona man-made virus. They were saying something about something about the HIV virus. It's a cross with it, or there's HIV. I can't remember. I've been watching so much shit. And where the fuck's the library? Oh, there it is. Watching so much shit that, Scarface soundtracks. Ooh. What's Tony's theme? Let's see what Tony's theme is. Oh yeah, now I remember. I don't know if that sounds like it or not, but I'm gonna go take a whiz. Oh, the drum thing, eh? It's a good thing I can't do live feed. Listen to all these guys hack on my drum thing. It's actually not mine. Well, that's pretty boring music, I think. I won't do that one again. What the hell? I'll find some of my own. This is my kid's. My kid's, whatever. He's not a kid. He's a fucking man. So here I am. Okay, so this young man. Fucking feel like breaking down and having a smoke. Oh man. dumping cocaine was so much easier. And that was back in the 80s when, you know, back in the early 80s when sex didn't kill you and cocaine wasn't addictive. I feel sorry for you guys, millennials and up. But, you know, we knew our rights. You couldn't pull us over. For what reason? Now they're passing new laws. They don't have to have a reason because a driver is defined as one. A driver is somebody who works for the corporation. So if you work for a private corporation, because the corporation is licensed with the corporate body in Canada, because it all ends up back in Canada, right? See, this is why Canadians don't have property rights, because you're just a corporate person. You're part of the corporation. Okay, even if the indenture, well, the indenture for Canada is the because it's a trust company, is British North American Act 1867, and it's also all the other shit they put in 1982 stuff and da 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 da. But because it's illegitimate as well, because after Queen Victoria, and anybody that studies Doug stuff knows that this corporate trust is fucking illegitimate, right? What makes it illegitimate is, well, everyone that fucking believes it is, and if you believe something's legitimate, I guess it is, and we are the ones who keep it fucking operating, and people are scared to speak. People are scared to speak. On this land, people are scared to speak. Oh, I might get arrested. They might. And? So I'm going to do a series of shows and just show you how I deal with stuff. And the first one will be the letter that I wrote Elizabeth. Just so I could, you know, I'm just giving her a heads up that she is now a potential traitor, or she is now a potential target by traders within the corporate body here, within the trust company that I believe she is the beneficiary of, which represents, and she also presents all the other beneficiaries, which are us, okay, the people, all right? The Queen and the land are one, the people and the land are one. The Queen serves the people at her leisure, at her pleasure. That's how this works. It's a constitutional monarchy. The Prime Minister is like a prime servant. He's a fucking prime servant. The Privy Council is the one who wipes the fucking king's ass when he's going to the can, okay? These are a bunch of ass wipers. Yeah, no, they got power, they got CSIS, they got, Recom just loves fucking beating on citizens. Look, or anyone they wish. If they can get away with it, if they feel they can get away with it, they do it. And what's going on is because every man and woman on this fucking land doesn't figure out who the fuck they are and what standing we have, and doesn't know how to operate at court, or doesn't know how to stand anywhere, whether it be public or private. These recomp guys are just getting away with fucking murder. Literally getting away with murder. It's fucking ridiculous. And until we start coming together as communities. Now what's happening, what I believe is happening, is that we are coming together as communities because we see that this place is fucked. Right? And as we start to come, this is why they're attacking the internet. This is why they're attacking free speech. This is why they're attacking fucking, our right to own certain properties. This is why they're attacking our movement. This is why they're attacking our jobs. They have to keep us separated and kept down. And they want, this is what the establishment does wish. That you and I are so fucking jealous and hate each other for fucking different reasons because the establishment put a wedge in between us, that we're so busy fucking fighting from 6 directions, each man and woman, from different ideologies, that these guys could just go, hey man, here I got the answer. Squish, just like a fucking bug. All works of us. And that's what's going on here. I feel really bad, man. I mean, my own daughter, who is 38 years old, she's like, I call her my number one son. Now, Jordy's my number one son. He's my disabled son, and I've always, he is number one. I mean, he can't defend himself. He can't do anything. I mean, if his medicines, he has to take meds that keep him alive from day to day. And if his meds come from China, yeah, no, he may end up being a dead man, or a very suffering, agonizing man that doesn't understand why he's going through so much pain before he fucking calves. No, I'm serious. I was never into this globalism, and this whole globalism and building up China and all this stuff. All the governments fucking ignored anybody who spoke up, and I did. But anybody who spoke up at the time in the building of China, which I have nothing against, any man or woman from China, man, they got some beautiful folks there, man. Great family-orientated folks. But it's the government. It's the government. It's the government. It's these bodies of government, these corporate bodies that are destroying us, dividing us, and destroying the world, destroying our nations. They are the true enemy. The mom and pop Canadian did not send our native cousins to fucking these reform schools. That's what I call them, reform schools. We didn't do this. The government decided to do this. Why the fuck we didn't speak up? And there had to be. I bet you there was people that spoke up. I bet you there was. I bet you any money there was residential schools. I bet you there was people of the day speaking up against residential schools. And just like today, because the average person, fucking Canadian person, citizen, it didn't affect them, so they didn't really give a shit. And that's exactly what's going on today. You got your Kia. You got your fucking Kia. You got your Tim Hortons. Yeehaw. Everything's on debit credit. Yeehaw. Yep. You're doing good. Don't worry about the next person. Don't get to know your neighbor beside you. Don't have community churches where actually it's a gathering of the neighborhood just to give thanks one day a week and hang out together. No. They'll have to be corporate churches. Yeah. Why is it a church has to be corporate? No, seriously. Every church is what do you call it? Signed up as a nonprofit organization through the government. Which totally incorporates them into Canada right away. And like I said before, in 2000, it was Harper versus who was Chrétien's flunky, the finance minister. But anyways, they come out and I read it myself in the fucking National Post. This is just before the National Post sold out to CBC and corrected their stance. After they were threatened that CBC would pull all their advertising funding, which is our money, by the way. Said, no, if anybody comes against gay marriage and blah, 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 they lose their nonprofit status. Well, hang on a second. Every church has their own beliefs, and every church should be respected for their own beliefs. So if me and my boyfriend wish to get married at, say, a church that we don't attend, and then try and force them to marry us, and it's against the man's good conscience to do so, then we should go to another church. Or try going to get married at the church that we attend. Oh, you don't want to attend church? Well, there you go. Now, I have nothing against anything gay, but I do have something against forcing others through extortion and threats to submit to your fucking will. That is wrong, guys. Okay, that's unlawful. It's actually unlawful, not just illegal. It's fucking unlawful. Oh yeah, this my son found that's Dave Mann in there, but this is me and my old lady have been in this exact. We were coming off the Radium off ramp before Banff. My old 69 generator shovel chopper with the 10 over front end, adjustable wide glide, open belt drive, dual plugged heads with magneto. But anyways, yeah, through the chain, camped in the ditch that night. Fucking pouring rain, man. So this picture of Dave, and if you ever see Dave's stuff, he is always that's always his bike and him in the picture, right? But this so much reminds me of that time. And one time, there was one time me and the kids were small and stuff, and we had my wife and I, we got a few kids, and one's disabled. And tough bringing up a disabled son. We didn't get outside care for him until he was like 19. Can't trust the fucking system. He was very delicate. I mean, it took years for the medical society to figure out just the right balance of meds. Like, it was just fucked. But went through a lot of hell. So one night, one day we said, okay, we got somebody to look after the kids we trust, and we're getting the fuck out of Dodge. And so we scoop off to the east slopes down by it's on the 940, what we used to call the old 940 trunk road, on the east slopes there. Livingstone Falls. Nice place. So yeah, I'm riding my scooter. It's a rigid frame. It's fucking dirt roads. There's all kinds of shit. It's a mountain goat trail actually to get there, and there are mountain goats and longhorn sheep up there. So we get down from fucking rainy, whatever. I flip a table up sideways, get a tarp, and I get a fire going. I'm grabbing this wood. There was a beehive in one of the logs, and we got attacked, and we're getting soaked, and we can't enjoy our fire until the bees all got burned. Yeah, oops. The old scooter might have broke down that night too. My poor girl. Yeah, and the old lady probably wasn't happy either. Yeah, just shit I wanted to spiel off about stuff. I'm going to get more serious about the common law, but listen folks, until you figure out the difference between any fucking adjective or pronoun and whom you might be on this land, the establishment is going to have their way. And just because you figure out that who you are and what rights and standing that you do have on this land, and with the legal society and with your public servants, or with the public servants, it's not going to be easy, but it's a start. And I'm listening, like Mark, like Friesen, and of course we listen to Raging because, well, first off, I respect the guy, and secondly, he's entertaining as fuck, and it gives me and my son something to hang out if I could do in February, as far as father and son shit goes. If I could drink beer like the rest of you guys, I'd be having, oh jeez, listen to Raging too much and you'll end up to be an alcoholic. And Derek, and Cranky Frankie, and Mary Poppins, and I'm just very thankful that more and more those of us within this nation are speaking up. I'm so happy to see this. I mean, back when Mr. Clifford was speaking up, I mean, he was one of the only ones. I would say, Dean was in Canada, and he was one of the only ones in Canada speaking up. Rob Menard was speaking up. There was very few speaking up, and these guys were like the headwaters. John Talk, another one. They were the headwaters, and if a guy ended up at court, and these guys would be in court, right? I ain't going into anybody else's court unless I understand who it is and get to see my accuser face to face, because I have a right to face my accuser. That's my right. I don't know what the legal society does. I don't care about their customs. I don't care about their fucking common law. I, as man, have rights. And if you take any of my rights, which are my property, if you take, say, free speech, for instance, okay? If you took free speech from me, right? It's not a violation of my right. Violate? I mean, nobody stuck their dick in my mouth to shut me up, right? It interferes with my right. Now, if you take that right, that property of I to express myself freely, then I am not a man. And so this is what you guys got to understand. A person has no fucking rights. A person has certain rights. When you guys figure out that, and I know how the whole story goes about how corporations got rights as a person, that's fine. Who gives a fuck? But it also says in which you guys, they don't have all the rights as a man. They have certain rights as a person. Okay, well that's good because a corporation is a fucking person. What the fuck do I care if a corporation has person rights? But as that of mankind, I have rights that far exceed anything that this public service that operates on this land, above this land, within this jurisdiction, it far exceeds that. Right? And because it's a common law land, all rights of I are lawful, as long as I don't trespass or interfere, not violate, interfere with another one's rights. And so, like, I like using the word one, something that, Carl taught me a lot of shit. That's for good shit. But, as long as I don't fear in someone's rights, okay, as long as I don't interfere with someone's rights, then there's no issue. There's no controversy. There's no reason to go to court. Right? Now, what was that court case just recently? I don't know. I'm going to catch up on some of these court cases. And the first one I wish to critique the interview with Ezra and the coppers. But I just got this shit working. I haven't been feeling good. My fucking boss is now sick as a dog. Who knows? He might have corona. Fucking it is what it is. I want to critique one of Cranky Frankie's vids just because he's talking about law shit and and the law applies all. No, it doesn't, man. What is the mandated law you wish to talk about? What is the jurisdiction? Where's the jurisdiction? Like there are so many things called laws. What law? Where law? Who law? Who, what, when, where, and why. Right? Critical thinker. And I enjoy watching him. He's got some good guests on. But say with critical thinker. And that's, who, what, when, where, and why. Right? Question authority. Remember, authority means dictatorship, okay? Authoritarian fucking government, a dictator, all right? Who the fuck is Trudeau on these shills to be dictating about your property, about my property, about anyone's property? Canadians don't have property rights, but every man and every woman on this land has property, and that is their right. So that's not a child. I forget the blonde chick's name from the coast there. She's going on about children and parents and parents and parents. Fuck you guys. Get these legalese words out of your vocabulary. Dump them. Fucking dump them. Use the word kids. But use the word property. Property. That's property of I. I have total authority. I have dictatorship over my property. You got a fucking claim to my property? Then you come up here, and if you're at court, you say, "You okay? Let's get you under oath or affirmation here, fucking, and state your claim for the record." You guys don't understand the difference between minutes, right, somebody taking down what you say in court, and those of the record when a record is pressed, and how those words are pressed onto paper. There's a big fucking difference. There's even two different companies, like here in BC. They're in the same building, but there's one company that presses the record for testimony and stuff, which is under fucking high guard, and there's another one that keeps the minutes of the fucking court. And you guys just go up there as some kind of goddamn. Are you fucking Alibaba? Yeah, Your Honor, I'm him. There, now you just gave him jurisdiction. Oh, so you were charged with, shooting your fucking mouth off when we told you not to. How do you plea? Plea? Plea means to beg to a higher deity. You look at that. So you're just a fucking person of the low officership of this corporate body, politic, that's de facto. Okay? Instead of us having our sovereign fucking government, instead of us having a ground up government, we got this corporate body of the inner city of London called Canada running this fucking de facto place. Okay? And so you're standing there and you're pleading to a higher officer of the corporate body. The fuck is wrong with you people? Did I say that? Am I going to get shilled now? Am I cut off? I'm trying to say you folks. I retract that last statement. What the fuck is wrong with folks? You know? That's your fellow man or fellow woman sitting up there in that black robe. Is there a law that forces me to act as a legal person? Now, if I volunteer and I go and act as, a legal person, I'm going to act as a fucking driver, I'm going to go act as a parent, I'm going to go act as a teacher, I'm going to go act as an MP, I'm going to go act as a fucking fisherman. Right? Those are all legal persons that fall under the jurisdiction of the corporate body politic, the corporation. And the reason that you have to keep their persons in check is so that they don't harm any man or woman of this land. And this is what pisses me off about my Indian brothers and sisters. They're all identifying as fucking Indians under the Indian Act, treaty, blah, 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 blah. And I don't see any of them coming up as men, except for Gilbert, that I went to court with up in Williams Lake. Gilbert stood as a man, spoke as a man, looked everybody in the eye as a man. And threw the judge for a fucking loop, but she recognized the man, and then just started to defend his rights, or did defend his fucking rights, because his rights are his property. This guy acting as a crown prosecutor had no fucking first-hand knowledge of anything he was actually saying. He had no claim over this man's property. Canada has no claim over any man or woman's property. They can't claim shit. If Canada can claim something, then you put them on the goddamn stand. You get Mr. and Mrs. Canada here today, put them on the fucking stand and have them testify under oath or affirmation. And I have a right to fucking cross-examine my accuser. Because it is the law of this land, the customs of this people that go far beyond the legal society operating on this land. Okay. I just wanted to do a quick film about the coronavirus. All I'm telling you, I don't give people legal shit, no advice. Fuck that noise. But I am telling you the truth from what I see, what I've experienced, what I believe, and how I walk. Yes, sometimes I do recognize as a person of the corporate body if I see a benefit, because I'm the beneficiary. Okay? Everyone of this land is a beneficiary of this trust company that they call Canada. Okay? There's a trust going on. And so what they're doing is every man and woman who's a beneficiary of this land, a beneficiary of this corporate body, because that's why they gave you certain benefits and stuff, was so that you could benefit if you so wished. But slavery's been outlawed in this land forever, since basically just after the English beat the French in Quebec. and it was outlawed in 1778, I believe it was. Okay, it was 40 years before fucking England did. We were 40 years ahead of those fuckers. Okay, not that I got anything against those fucking Englishmen because they all drive me crazy, and most of the ones I ever met were two-faced backstabbing bastards. But that doesn't mean they all are. I'm sure there's some good folks from England. I'm sure there is. I'm sure they're not all backstabbing bastards, but that's what I experienced. Um, you know, well, I'm a Celt mostly. I'm native. Welsh is the Indian of fucking England. Okay, the Indian of the island. Also, the first people to sell out to Rome, but whatever. And then there's the Irish side of me and the Scots side of me. And I know there was an Englishman in the fucking woodpile somewhere. But whatever. I always take everybody at face value. I don't care and that's the other thing, these guys, not all cultures agree. That's why we have different cultures at different places around the globe. Because, yeah, okay, maybe you beat your old lady with a hockey stick and fuck orphan boys up the ass because you got a special name for them and it's legal, even though you kill gays. But at the same time, within the culture of I and my people, or the customs of my people, right? We don't do shit like that, even if you are an orphan little boy child. Actually, we're more like kind of with our culture, we're the kind that takes you under the wing and says, here, let me teach you a few things. And, if you wish to hang out here, you're going to have to earn your way like the rest of us. And in exchange, you earn your way around here, then we'll teach you some shit, and you can get a good head start on life when you come of age. That is the culture of my people. All right, it's not take advantage of people just because they're poor or whatever, or fucking different color or different background or caliphates. I think that's what those guys call them, caliphates or whatever. So it's okay to bum fuck these little boys and turn them into little boy hookers. That's what they do over there. And I've seen it. I've seen films of it. It's disgusting. Not when I was watching that kind of shit. It's just somebody taking a documentary that was in Afghanistan, which was before we went over there. It was during it was in the 90s. It was after the Russians had pulled out and stuff, and then what happened to their society at that time. And it was terrible, terrible documentary. It just fucking broke my heart, man. It disgusted the shit out of me. So, but whatever. I mean, if that's their culture, that's their culture. But I don't wish anybody to come here and make that culture our culture. And that's why nationalists are an enemy of Trudeau's state, because we don't wish to have pedophiles and those who harm any woman or any child, and I hate that word child, but any young one or any feminine one on this land, because our job as a masculine toxicity is to protect those who cannot protect themselves, and that's what we do. I mean, I've done it on the street, and I've been to court for it. I got arrested for sticking up for somebody on the street before, and with an assault charge and whatever. So what? So what? What the fuck are you people scared of? Oh, I said it again. Man, I haven't even got started, and I'm gonna get cut off this fucking thing. Well, you folks, what the fuck are you folks scared of? That your fucking Kia's not going to fire up when you get bailed out of jail, and you're not going to be able to make it to Tim Hortons tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. so you can sit and line and idle your plastic fucking vehicle, from the coffee pipeline that comes from Ontario? these are just my thoughts. So I'm going to go further on with. I guess I'm not copying rants, Derek, but at least But there's basically just a rant. Just getting out of my system because there's so much shit floating up here in this empty hole of mine. I don't even know where to start with stuff. And so what I do wish to do, and this is what I wish to do. So I'm not gonna give you my word I'm gonna do it because I'm a boomer and we fuck up lots. I could screw up all the software in the next 2 seconds and not be able to work in a week. But that's what I hated about Yum Yums. All these fucking doodah rag motherfuckers posing, coming into my shop and fucking talking down to me because they got a gold card. It's like, get the fuck out of here, you idiot. Fuck out of here. There's good money and there's not so good money, and then there's just plain up bad money. So working for the mob would be like bad money because one day you're going to be a sacrificial lamb like that professor working for the Chinese mob, the Chinese government. Okay, yeah, you got caught. Now you're dead. You can't testify. Epstein, working for the bad mob. Which part of it, I don't know. I think it's the New World Order mob that he was working for. Because everybody in government was involved in having their little teen sex and perverted fucking fantasies filled on the island. But those are just examples. But I've listened to the cartel guys talk. And that's what they tell you the truth. And Trudeau, don't forget, Trudeau's telling you the truth. But listen to the words when he actually does speak. When he actually does say a thought. Listen to his words because he's telling you the truth. Canadians do not have property rights. Every man, every woman, and every young one has property rights. They're God-given. They're part of our common law. And if anybody does interfere, not violate, you can't violate means to stick your dick into something. Like I violated that woman over there because I stuck my dick in her without. Rape's totally another fucking situation. So nobody has the right to interfere with your rights. Nobody has the right to cause harm, cause loss, cause injury. These are the laws of the land. This is common law land. Those are the laws. All the other shit's all legal. Extortion's unlawful because you're interfering with another man's rights or another woman's rights to freely go on about their fucking business, to make their own decision, yay or nay. That's what the Canadian, this corporate body politics doing to Canadians right now. Guys are going into court. Now I don't know how this man got into court with his son or daughter that's doing the change and doesn't need his permission, all that wonderful stuff. I don't know how he ended up at court, but he did have the right to write a letter and let everybody know. It's called lawful excuse. It's part of the fucking law, you guys. And the lawful excuse is property of I, these are certain things you can and cannot do. Anything else will be considered a trespass and subject to a debt owed. So fucking I don't know if he did that. I don't know if they brought him to court or if he went and initialized the court and brought them into a legal proceeding. See, I don't know. I mean, if he started the legal proceeding and he went in there as a legal person, then no, he ain't got no fucking rights. Okay, he has whatever his lord, the one in the black robe, his daddy. Okay, let's go to daddy because that's that's what the emperor of China is, daddy. Okay, and that's what president of fucking France is, daddy. Okay, but here it's not daddy. Okay, unless you make it daddy. So this man or woman in the black robe, that's his daddy. If he initiated the court, and that's the way he went. Now, if they brought him to court, like Laura Lynn, that was the chick I was trying to think of. Okay, so if Laura Lynn, okay, first off, I'm not going to go too far into this, but Laura Lynn gets this thing in the summons. And I said, yeah, thank you very much for your fucking offer to show up, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to require a stipend, if you have any reason not to compensate. Yes, okay, I'm going to require to be compensated to show up at your court, right? Even if they write up an order, your name better be on the fucking order, right? And say you order me to do something through court, and say, okay, I'll take the order. Now I'm going to write you a fucking bill for fulfilling your order, and I will fulfill your order. These are things that Dean had. Certain things that Dean, like he was right there. He was right there. But I mean, he lost it. The legal society lost it on him. He lost it on them, and so I'm not dissing Dean off. But if you start going back to certain things and doing certain things, like going to court and saying I'm a man. Well, of course you're a fucking man. Everybody can see you're a fucking man, you idiot. Obviously right there, that just shows you that you don't know how to fucking man up, right? I'll cross the bar and you're, give it a fucking break, man. You're just a man you're just one of mankind that is passing through that building. Until you plead to daddy, all right? Daddy, I got a plea, right? My creator, all right? My creator is not any man or woman, all right? Or any actor, okay? I have a relationship with my creator one-on-one. I don't need religiosity. I don't need somebody telling me. You know what? One thing I just super miss is a good fucking preacher. I miss. Now Win Worley, he was my pastor, and I sat under him for a number of years and learned a lot about history, biblical history mostly. But fucking that man, I'd be glued when he spoke. He could tell the stories. It was good. But these guys, man, geez. It's not that I don't care about the other people, but I don't know. It's just like weak. Just weak. I believe more in community than I do in, the church used to be where the community showed up, and then you had a solidarity, and if something happened and the government was trying to pull some kind of bullshit in your community, people get together on Sunday and it would be talked about right from the pulpit, and everybody would be able to fucking talk about it. And now it's just like, no, bend over, shh, don't say anything. Oh, we can't judge others because unless you be judged, and all this stupid shit. I used to read history books on when a country went communist, and how the communists and the Nazis, how they'd infiltrate the church. Our church has been infiltrated even without the fucking Gestapo. It's like we volunteered it because, I don't want to lose my living. I don't want to lose my non-profit status. So I better tote the line, and I'll give my a good little sermon that'll help the sheep float down, go in the right direction with me, so I don't offend anybody, so I don't lose my fucking money. In the old days, preachers used to have a full-time fucking job, and they preached the word because their heart for their God and their fellow man. In the old days, right here, this place we call Canada, politicians were considered part-time jobs, part-time wages, part-time fucking benefits. What the fuck is this now? What have we done? And only as the ones of this land that know who the fuck the public servants serve are going to be able to straighten this out. What if it's just as simple as everybody turning their back on the shills that they're acting as. What if we just all turn our back on them and say, nah, don't recognize you anymore. You're fucked in the head. What are they going to do about it? You know, I have no problem with our style of government. I have no problem with the de facto government. I have no problem with any of that shit. But I do have a problem with the shills that are acting as. These are traitors. These are bad people. These are wrongdoers. These are people that are causing harm, loss, and injury to their fellow man through title. These are people that are using, presumed persons to keep people in check and to take property and to fulfill their own dreams and their own pockets and their own wealth and their own coffers. That's what's going on. So, I don't have a song to end this off, but I'm still figuring this shit out. Where was I? Oh, Spotify. Tragical Hip. They're alright. Irish folk songs, they're probably pretty fucking good. But that's it. That's it. My kid has a shit library. Oh, made for you. Oh, what's on there? Let's see what's. I'm more of a blues man myself. Right? Let's see. Not the bird. The bird. Not the bird. Fuck. Attack the virus. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, sounds like a Warrior song, doesn't it? Well, that's a little fucking slow, isn't it? It's supposed to be a Warrior song. Well, yeah, it's kind of tack. Let's see. That's more my style.
Oh yeah.
Other stuff's my sapper son stuff.
Everything gonna be alright this morning. Oh yeah.
Now we're talking.
Now when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm way past 21.
Wrong key.
I want you to believe it, baby. I have lots of fun. I'm a man. I fell young. Hey, child. In that rubber sand Maine. No beat. Oh, child. Why?
Fuck.
That mean manish boy.
Ah. Okay. So yeah, like what I would do is definitely gloves, masks, and goggles for sure. You know, safety glasses are cool. But definitely alcohol, H2O2. That spray shit, they figured out early in the whole thing that it doesn't work. It's not effective. You know, the hand sanitizer, not effective. What the hell else? Guys, you're just gonna have to be careful. And if it comes back to haunt us, it came from us, and it's because we allowed it to happen, and because we're not controlling our fucking Frankenstein. So, anyways, I'll put this up and call it my first one. See how it works.